Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Chris, and today I'm going to be working on my California pepper tree and repotting it, putting it into this pot. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first step is to get it out of the pot. As you can see, it's quite deep in there. It was originally planted very high in the pot, but as time has gone on, the soil has diminished, and now it's time to repot it. So just gonna go around and scrape away the sides of the pot here. Just to loosen everything up. Getting my shovel as far down as I can to loosen up the sides. And let's see if we can get it out now. There we go. Came out pretty easily. Alright, so as you can see, it is not my regular bonsai mix. It's basically the potting soil that came with my pomegranate tree. This old wooden barrel pot is what my pomegranate tree came in. And when I first planted this tree, I didn't really have space for it, so that was the only pot that I had. And it's been in there for, I think, 2 years now. I think it's been 2 years since this tree has been in this pot. So I'm starting by raking out the soil radially from the base of the tree. See, there's some wild surface roots already. Now, I haven't done any real root work on this tree because the only time that I've repotted it was when it was only a couple months old as a seedling, and it was originally planted very close to the edge of one of my other pots. And so it had a very weak root system that was very one-sided. Only like 3 roots on it. So I haven't really done anything on this tree to develop the nabari or anything like that. So we'll see what the roots look like when we get all the soil out of here. Big weird root right there. I think this repot today will really make it go from feeling like just a shrub or a small plant in a regular pot to something closer to a bonsai. I think having it in better soil too will hopefully boost the health of this tree even more. This is a very vigorous tree, but I imagine once it gets in that really good bonsai soil and I start giving it fertilizer more regularly, it'll really take off. So as you can see, this is pretty much just wood chips. So I haven't been giving it a whole lot of fertilizer. Like I do with my trees that are in inorganic soil. And it's still been growing like crazy. It's still super vigorous. Kind of got a massive roots here towards the bottom of the pot. Break these out. Get all that soil out. All right, so kind of a gnarly little root base here. A bit more soil there. Certainly not the worst in the world. So you can see I have this major root that came out here in a nice direction and then kinked back and went all the way around and basically went around the pot a bunch of times towards the bottom of the pot. So I'll definitely have to do some corrective work today. And you got this one over here that kind of comes straight down and then kinks back up. So yeah, so we'll do some root work today, but so I'll get this rinsed off, cleaned up, and we'll come back inside and do some root work and pot this up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do some root pruning here. So first things first, I can see this big one here. You can see it comes down this direction and then it goes back in a funky direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually prune off most of it and keep this one root in here that's going in this right direction. So there we go. There we go. Some major root pruning there. See that scar? That root that I took off. And we have a few that are growing straight down, so I'm going to take those back as well at an angle. This one that comes down and then comes back up and then comes around it has one shoot that kind of comes up. Take that one off, keeping the ones that go back down in the soil. There's a whole bunch of roots down here. I'm going to take out the lowest one. And then this one goes straight down again, so I'm going to take that off. Bit of an angle there. Here. And then these ones here, I don't want to do too much more because this is pretty severe already. So I'm just going to kind of shorten the rest of these up a little bit. I'll take back because there's some root hairs coming down from the bottom, so those will take over hopefully. This one's a bit high, but there isn't much going on in this root base, so that might make it a little more interesting to get a bit of an aerial root there. I'll keep that. That one back a little further. This one here, it goes down, it goes nice, and then it kind of takes a nosedive. And there's some other root hairs coming right there, so I'll take that off and keep the nicer roots going in a nicer direction. This one kind of comes at an angle, so I'll cut that one back. And there's not much left. But I think that's all the work I can do on this right now without risking the health of the tree. So root hair right there I can use. Okay, so. Okay, so that's it for the root pruning. So let's get the pot ready. Okay, so this is the pot that I'll be using today. So first we're going to figure out what a nice front would be. So not really a fan of that texture at the bottom there. So I think this is going to be the front. And then got my mesh screens to cover those drainage holes. And I'll get my bonsai mix in here. Again, this is my standard bonsai mix, so it's roughly equal parts turfus or fuller's earth and pumice with a little bit of perlite. So now I'll have to pick a front for the tree. And I think somewhere around here, the nice front. I have to stretch out the roots a little bit to make them fit more radially. Position in the pot. Slightly off center. And I'll come in with some more soil. And I'm planting this deeper than I eventually want this tree to be, just because I did so much root work on here. I don't want to risk it dying or tipping over or something like that. Oops, sorry, Mark. I don't really need to do a whole lot of packing in the soil with a chopstick or anything like that, because there wasn't very many fine roots, so there's not big air pockets. I am going to just kind of make sure everything is really packed in there, though. Okay, looks good. Roots sticking out, so I'll cover that up. Okay. All right, and we still have a little bit of surface root there. Hopefully this one will thicken up and we'll get a nice radial style, nice flare to the bottom of the trunk there. Okay, so I think that's it for that. Now, since I did so much root work, I do need to give this a trim. So I will give it a pretty hard trim back, reduce a bunch of the foliage, reduce the water stress on the plant, and hopefully that'll keep it healthy. All right, so since I did significant root work to this tree, I'm going to do a pretty significant prune to reduce the foliage and reduce the water stress on the plant. So I'm basically going to be bringing most of the growth pretty far back. Just doing some directional pruning and keeping everything tight and compact. Shoot, I'll just take that out completely. This branch right here, is a big long straight section with hardly any taper. You can see I pruned it right there, and I pruned it right here, and I pruned it right here and here. But fortunately, I've got a shoot coming out of here, so what I'm going to do is take this back, have an opportunity to get better taper. There's a couple of small twigs coming out shooting out from the trunk that I'll get rid of. Oops. Yeah, not a lot of roots in here, so it's going to have to be protected from the wind. And I'll have to find some heavy rocks to put on it, keep it stable until it grows roots again. Got something growing on the inside of the curve here. That out. Old pruning stump. Pruning stump. Pruning stump. I think I'm going to take this back a little farther. There's a downward facing leaf here that I can utilize. This shoot kind of comes in at a funky angle, so I'm going to take that out. Another pruning stub. This in a little deeper. Some of these roots have started sticking up. I'm just making sure all the fine little roots are covered. We got plenty of soil contact. All right, so there it is after the trimming, and I will add some soil topper now. All right, so here is the finished tree here. So you can see, looks pretty nice with the tan colored aquarium gravel, the kind of tan cream color and reddish brown glaze on the pot. These trees will develop a reddish gnarly bark as well that I think will kind of complement the color as it matures. So I'll give you a 360 view. And don't forget, if you like this video, you want to see updates on this tree and others in the futures, don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications, share the video with your friends, do all that kind of stuff. And I will see you next time. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed.